Ethan Wright jolted awake to the ear-piercing sound of the alarm system. The red emergency lights flashed rhythmically, casting an eerie glow over his small quarters. The outpost on Titan was usually a place of routine and predictability, but today was different. The communication console by his bed flickered to life, displaying a distress signal from a nearby human settlement. "Attention all personnel. This is Captain Harper. We've received a distress signal from Outpost Theta. They are under attack by an unidentified force. All available engineers and security personnel, report to the command center immediately." Ethan's heart raced as he quickly dressed and grabbed his toolkit. As an engineer, he was used to fixing malfunctioning machinery, not dealing with combat situations. Still, duty called. He hurried through the narrow corridors of the outpost, joining a stream of people headed towards the command center. The command center was a hive of activity. Technicians were frantically working at their stations, analyzing data from the distress signal. Captain Harper stood in the center, issuing orders with calm authority. Ethan made his way to her side, his mind racing with questions. "Captain, what's the situation?" Ethan asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Harper turned to him, her face a mask of grim determination. "Ethan, we've lost contact with Outpost Theta. Preliminary scans indicate a significant force attacking them. We need to send a team to investigate and assist." Ethan nodded, feeling a mix of fear and responsibility. "I'm ready to help, Captain. You'll lead the engineering team," Harper continued. "Your primary objective is to assess the damage and restore any critical systems. We're sending a security detail with you, but you'll need to be prepared for anything." Ethan swallowed hard, nodding again. He spotted Jake, his close friend and fellow engineer, making his way towards him. Jake's usual easygoing demeanor was replaced with a serious expression. "You ready for this, Ethan?" Jake asked, clapping him on the shoulder. "As ready as I'll ever be," Ethan replied, forcing a smile. "Let's get to the shuttle." The team assembled quickly, loading essential equipment and supplies onto the shuttle. Just before boarding, they were approached by Commander Oren, a veteran who had seen more battles than anyone else on Titan. His presence commanded respect, and Ethan felt a flicker of reassurance. "Ethan," Oren said, handing him a small metallic device. "Take this. It's a prototype I've been working on. It might come in handy." Ethan examined the device, noting its sleek, unfamiliar design. "What is it?" "Something that could turn the tide if things get tough," Oren replied cryptically. "Use it wisely." With the device secured in his toolkit, Ethan boarded the shuttle, his mind buzzing with anticipation and anxiety. The journey to Outpost Theta was tense, the silence only broken by the hum of the shuttle's engines. Each member of the team was lost in their thoughts, preparing for the unknown challenges ahead. As they approached their destination, the devastation became apparent. The outpost was in ruins, with fires burning and debris scattered across the landscape. Alien ships hovered ominously above, their dark silhouettes a stark contrast against Titan's orange sky. "Stay alert," Ethan instructed, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. "We need to find survivors and secure the area." The team disembarked, moving cautiously through the wreckage. They encountered pockets of resistance, small groups of aliens who seemed intent on finishing what they had started. The security detail engaged them, allowing Ethan and Jake to focus on the damaged infrastructure. In the remains of the main control room, they found Dr. Evelyn Shaw, a scientist who had miraculously survived the attack. She was battered and bruised, but her eyes shone with determination. "Thank God you're here," Dr. Shaw said, her voice trembling with relief. "We need to get the defense systems back online. It's our only chance." Ethan nodded, quickly assessing the situation. "Jake, start with the power grid." "Dr. Shaw, show me what we're dealing with." As they worked, Dr. Shaw explained what she knew about the attackers. "They're unlike anything we've encountered. Their technology is advanced, but I've noticed some weaknesses. If we can exploit them, we might stand a chance." Ethan listened intently, his mind racing with possibilities. The hours flew by as they toiled to restore the outpost's defenses, each small victory bringing a glimmer of hope. Just as they managed to get the main power grid back online, a loud explosion rocked the building. Ethan looked up, seeing a massive alien ship descending towards them. His heart pounded as he remembered the device Orin had given him. Pulling it from his toolkit, he activated it, hoping it would make a difference. A powerful energy beam shot from the device, striking the alien ship with pinpoint accuracy. The ship shuddered and veered off course, crashing into the ground a safe distance away. The team watched in awe, realizing they had a fighting chance. The shuttle touched down amidst the smoking ruins of Outpost Theta. Ethan Wright and his team disembarked quickly, the gravity of the situation sinking in. Fires raged, and the air was thick with the acrid scent of destruction. Alien ships hovered ominously in the sky, their sleek forms menacing against the orange haze. "Stay together and keep your eyes open," Ethan instructed, leading his team through the wreckage. The sounds of distant gunfire and explosions echoed through the shattered landscape, a grim reminder of the ongoing threat. They made their way to the main control building, or what was left of it. The structure had been heavily damaged, its once imposing facade now a crumbling shell. Inside, they found Dr. Evelyn Shaw, her face smudged with soot, but her eyes sharp with determination. "Dr. Shaw, we're here to help," Ethan said, offering her a reassuring nod. "What's the situation?" Dr. Shaw wasted no time. "We're barely holding on. The aliens have been relentless, and we've lost most of our defenses. The power grid is down, and our communication systems are offline." Ethan glanced at Jake, who was already assessing the damage to the power grid. "Jake, get started on the power grid. We need those defenses back online." "Dr. Shaw, show me what we're dealing with." As they moved through the debris, Dr. Shaw explained the alien technology they were up against. "These attackers are using energy weapons far beyond our current capabilities. But I've noticed they rely heavily on centralized power sources. If we can disrupt those, we might have a chance." Ethan nodded, taking mental notes. "We'll need to find those power sources and take them out. Can you identify their locations?" Dr. Shaw pointed to a damaged console. "If we can get this system back online, I can pinpoint their energy signatures." Ethan got to work, his hands moving swiftly over the controls. Despite the damage, he managed to restore partial functionality to the console. Dr. Shaw leaned in, typing commands with practiced precision. "There," she said, highlighting several points on the map. "These are their primary power sources. If we hit them hard, it could cripple their operations." Ethan relayed the information to the security team. "We've got our targets. Let's move out." As they exited the building, they were met with a fresh wave of alien fighters. The security team engaged them, providing cover while Ethan and Jake focused on their task. Jake managed to bring the power grid back online, restoring power to the outpost's automated defenses. Turrets sprang to life, firing at the alien ships with renewed vigor. "Good job, Jake," Ethan shouted over the din of battle. "Now let's take out those power sources." They split into two teams, each heading towards a different target. Ethan's team moved swiftly through the rubble, using the terrain to their advantage. As they approached the first power source, they encountered heavy resistance. The aliens were well organized and determined to protect their assets. Ethan took a deep breath, activating the mysterious device Commander Orin had given him. The device emitted a low hum before unleashing a powerful energy beam. The alien defenses crumbled under the onslaught, allowing Ethan's team to plant explosives around the power source. "Clear out," Ethan ordered, and his team retreated to a safe distance. The explosives detonated with a thunderous roar, sending a shockwave through the area. "One down, one to go," Ethan muttered, checking in with the second team. They reported similar success, having neutralized their target as well. With both power sources destroyed, the tide of battle shifted. The alien ships faltered, their movements becoming erratic. Seizing the opportunity, Ethan rallied his team for a final push. They returned to the outpost, where Dr. Shaw was coordinating the defense efforts. "We did it," Ethan said, a rare smile breaking through his grim expression. Both power sources are down. Dr. Shaw nodded, her relief evident. That's incredible news. Our defenses are holding, but we're not out of the woods yet. Ethan looked around at his team, battered but resolute. We need to press our advantage. If we can drive them off now, we might just save this outpost. They regrouped and launched a coordinated assault on the remaining alien forces. The battle was fierce, but with their power sources disabled, the aliens couldn't maintain their offensive. Slowly but surely, the tide turned in favor of the humans. As the last of the alien ships retreated, a cheer went up from the defenders. They had won a crucial victory, but Ethan knew this was only a temporary reprieve. The aliens would be back, and next time, they'd be even more prepared. Ethan gathered his team, their faces reflecting a mixture of exhaustion and triumph. We've done well today, but we need to stay vigilant. This isn't over. Dr. Shaw approached, her expression serious. Ethan, there's something you need to see. We've intercepted a transmission. It's concerning. Ethan Wright stood in the command center of Outpost Theta, his mind racing as he processed Dr. Shaw's words. The intercepted alien transmission had revealed plans for a massive offensive. Time was running out. We need to prepare, Ethan said, his voice steady. Dr. Shaw, can you identify any weaknesses in their formation? Dr. Shaw nodded, her fingers flying over the console. I'm working on it. Give me a few minutes. Ethan turned to his team. Jake, ensure all defense systems are fully operational. We need every turret and barrier online. Everyone else, prepare for an imminent attack. As the team scattered, Ethan felt a hand on his shoulder. Commander Oren stood beside him, his eyes sharp and focused. Ethan, there's something you should know about the device I gave you. Ethan looked at the small, metallic object clipped to his belt. What is it, Commander? It's a prototype railgun, Oren explained. Developed by an advanced faction of humanity long thought extinct. It's capable of immense destruction, but it requires precision and skill to operate. Ethan's eyes widened. Why didn't you tell me this earlier? Because it's a last resort, Oren replied. If the situation becomes dire, you may need to use it to protect the outpost. Before Ethan could respond, the command center's alarms blared. Dr. Shaw's voice cut through the noise. They're here. Multiple ships approaching from the northeast quadrant. Ethan's heart pounded as he issued orders. All units, to your positions. Prepare to engage. The ground trembled as the first wave of alien ships descended, their energy weapons lighting up the sky. Ethan rushed to the front line, the railgun secure in his hands. He activated it, feeling a surge of power course through the device. The alien ships fired relentlessly, but the outpost's defenses held firm. Automated turrets unleashed a barrage of projectiles, while energy shields absorbed the brunt of the attacks. Ethan aimed the railgun at a cluster of enemy ships and squeezed the trigger. A beam of intense energy shot out, striking the alien vessels with pinpoint accuracy. The ships exploded in a brilliant display, sending debris raining down. The team around him cheered, but Ethan knew the battle was far from over. Keep pushing, he shouted, moving to a new position. We can't let them breach our defenses. Dr. Shaw's voice crackled over the comms. Ethan, there's a massive ship approaching. It's unlike anything we've seen before. Ethan glanced at the sky, spotting the enormous alien craft. It hovered ominously, dwarfing the other ships. We need to take that thing down. Suggestions? Dr. Shaw responded quickly. Its power core is exposed on the underside. If you can hit it with the railgun, it should cause a chain reaction. Ethan nodded, adjusting his aim. The railgun hummed as it charged, the energy building within. He took a deep breath, focusing on the vulnerable spot. With a steady hand, he fired. The beam pierced the ship's hull, striking the power core. For a moment, everything was still. Then, a blinding explosion erupted, consuming the alien craft in a fiery blaze. The shockwave knocked Ethan off his feet, but he managed to regain his balance. The remaining alien ships hesitated, their formations breaking. Sensing victory, The outpost's defenders launched a counterattack, driving the invaders back. One by one, the alien ships retreated, their assault thwarted. Ethan lowered the railgun, breathing heavily. The battlefield was littered with debris, but the outpost stood firm. He turned to his team, pride swelling in his chest. "We did it. We held them off." Jake approached, grinning. "You were amazing with that railgun, Ethan. I've never seen anything like it." Ethan smiled, but his mind was already racing ahead. "This isn't over. They'll be back, and we need to be ready." Dr. Shaw joined them, her expression serious. "Ethan, we intercepted another transmission. They're regrouping and planning a new strategy. We have a brief window to strengthen our defenses and repair the damage." Ethan nodded. "Let's make the most of it. We need to analyze their tactics and find more effective ways to counter their technology." As the team dispersed to begin repairs, Ethan took a moment to reflect. The railgun had given them a fighting chance, but it also represented a dangerous escalation. The aliens wouldn't underestimate them again. Commander Oren approached, his face etched with concern. "You handled yourself well, Ethan. But remember, the railgun is a powerful tool. Use it wisely." Ethan Wright watched as his team worked tirelessly to repair and reinforce Outpost Theta's defenses. The urgency of the situation had everyone on edge, but there was no room for hesitation. The alien threat was real, and they had to be ready. "Jake, how are we doing on the shield generators?" Ethan called out, his voice cutting through the controlled chaos. Jake looked up from the console, wiping sweat from his brow. "We've managed to get 2 of the 3 generators operational. The third one is giving us some trouble, but we should have it up soon." Ethan nodded. "Good work. Dr. Shaw, any updates on their strategy?" Dr. Evelyn Shaw was buried in data, her eyes scanning the screens rapidly. "Their patterns are changing. They're probing our defenses, looking for weaknesses. We need to anticipate their next move." Ethan approached the large central screen displaying the battlefield. He could see the alien ships moving in coordinated patterns, testing their newly reinforced barriers. "They're smarter than we gave them credit for. We need to stay a step ahead." Commander Oren entered the room, his presence commanding attention. "Ethan, we've spotted their command ship. If we can take it out, it might disrupt their entire operation." Ethan glanced at the screen, identifying the massive alien vessel at the rear of their formation. "That's a tall order, Commander. But if we don't try, we're done for." Oren nodded. "We'll need to use the railgun. It's our only chance to penetrate their defenses." Ethan felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. The railgun had proven its worth, but using it again meant risking everything. "I'll do it," he said, determination in his voice. The team moved with precision, gathering around Ethan as he prepared the railgun. The room buzzed with a mix of anxiety and focus. Dr. Shaw pulled up schematics of the alien command ship, pointing out potential weak points. "You'll need to hit it here," she said, tapping the screen. "If you can target the main reactor, it should cause a chain reaction." Ethan memorized the coordinates, his mind racing with the implications. "All right, let's do this." As he stepped outside, the sky above Outpost Theta was filled with the swirling forms of alien ships. The ground shook with the rumble of distant explosions. Ethan took a deep breath, raising the railgun and aiming for the command ship. "Cover me!" he shouted to his team. The automated turrets and defense drones sprang to life, providing a protective barrage as Ethan focused on his target. The railgun charged, the air around it crackling with energy. Ethan zeroed in on the weak point Dr. Shaw had identified, his finger hovering over the trigger. With a deep breath, he fired. The beam of energy sliced through the air, striking the alien command ship with devastating accuracy. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the ship erupted in a brilliant explosion, fragments scattering in all directions. The alien fleet faltered, their coordination shattered. "We did it!" Jake shouted, pumping his fist in the air. Ethan lowered the railgun, a sense of relief washing over him. But there was no time to celebrate. The alien ships were regrouping, and the battle was far from over. He turned to his team, determination burning in his eyes. Prepare for their counterattack. We need to press our advantage. As they readied themselves, Dr. Shaw's voice came over the comms. Ethan, we've intercepted another transmission. They're planning a desperate last push. If we can hold them off, we might just win this. Ethan nodded, his resolve unwavering. Let's finish this. The alien ships descended in waves, their attacks more ferocious than ever. The ground around the outpost trembled with the force of the battle. Ethan and his team fought with everything they had, their determination unwavering. In the midst of the chaos, Commander Oren led a charge, his experience and strategy turning the tide in their favor. Ethan followed his lead, the railgun blasting through enemy lines. The outpost's defenses held, their combined efforts creating an impenetrable wall. As the battle raged on, Ethan spotted a final group of alien ships making a last-ditch effort to breach their defenses. He aimed the railgun one last time, the energy beam cutting through the alien ships and sending them crashing to the ground. Silence fell over the battlefield. The alien ships had been defeated, their forces in full retreat. Ethan lowered the railgun, exhaustion and relief washing over him. He turned to his team, their faces reflecting the same emotions. "We did it," he said, his voice barely a whisper. Dr. Shaw approached, her expression one of awe and gratitude. "Ethan, you saved us all. I don't know how to thank you." Ethan shook his head. "It wasn't just me. It was all of us. We stood together and we won."